Hey everyone, it is Mrs. Matson. Today we are going to start with long division. By the end, you'll be able to fluently divide multi-digit numbers. Fluently means easily, with grace. So, the first question you have in your notes is 986 divided into 29. Now, I'm going to make my notes look exactly like your notes because I would like you to get in the practice of whatever is on this whiteboard is in your notes. So if I write it, you also write it. That will greatly help you know what to do and help you when you are doing the test later on or anytime you need help or reminders during the practice. Okay, so let me explain how I see long division. This number inside is called the dividend. The dividend is the number that is getting shared or divided up, right? So I like to think cookies because I like cookies. For this, I'm going to think in my head, I have 986 cookies and 28 students. I want to divide all of my cookies up because I'm super nice between my 29 students. And I'm going to see how many cookies each student will get if I have 986 cookies. It's going to be a lot, right? Y'all are going to be happy. You're going to have a lot of cookies. So what I do to start out is I underline the first number. And I think in my head, if I have 9 cookies, is that enough to make 29 students happy? If the answer is no, then I put a number 0 above the 9. And then I go on to the next number, 98. If I have 98 cookies, is that enough to make 29 students happy? Yeah, the answer is yes, for sure. So now I'm going to think, how many cookies will each student get? Will each student just get 1 cookie? Or is there enough that each student could possibly get 2 or 3 cookies each? And the way we figure that out is we do some math over here off to the side. 29 times 2 is 1858 cookies. I think if I have 98 cookies, there's enough there for me to give everyone 3 cookies. So now I'm going to do 29 times 3, and I get 27. 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8, 87. Yeah, I think I can give all of you 3 cookies and still have some left over. In fact, if I subtract now, I will still have 11 cookies left over. Perfect. Now, the last thing I do once I have that subtraction, that remainder, is I bring down the next number. And now I kind of do everything all over again. I ask myself, if I have 116 cookies, is that enough for my 29 students? You bet it is. Possibly even more than 3 times. I think maybe I'll be able to give all of you 4 cookies. Let's see. That'll be 36, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, yes, exactly. I can give all of you 4 cookies because 4 times 29 is 116. And I will have no cookies left over. Oh, that is beautiful. You guys are all going to be super happy because you're all going to get 34 cookies. Okay, so this is everything I expect to see on your notes. Next problem is 18 into 12,749. Now, when it's written like this first number is what is being shared. So that is the number that goes inside. And 18 is like how many groups you're doing it. So again, let's say like 18 students, and I have this many cookies. That's a lot of cookies. Maybe Fruities. I don't know. I'm going to stick with cookies. So I'm going to ask again, if I have 1 cookie, is that enough for 18? No, 0 of my 18 students will be happy. What if I have 12 cookies? Again, 0 of my students will be happy because they didn't all get 1 full cookie. So then I'm going to go to 127. 127 is enough cookies for my 18 students. Everyone will definitely get more than 1 cookie, right? If I have 127 cookies to give out, I don't know, I always like to, whenever I'm not sure, I always start with like a middle number, 4, 5, or 6. Then I know whether I need to go higher or lower. So let's start with 5. That will give me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That will only give me, I only need 9 cookies if I give everyone 5 cookies. I bet I can do more than that. Let's jump it all the way up to 7. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 1 plus 12 is 100. Ooh, 126. That will be perfect. So I'm going to give all of my classes, oops, I'm trying to erase this right here. I can give all of my 18 students 7 cookies, and they will still have some left over. I will have 1 cookie left over. Okay, now I bring down the 4, and now I start the whole process over again. If I have 14 cookies, is that enough for my 18 students? It's not. I will have 0 happy students. So I'm going to put that 0 up there. It will not go into 18. It's not big enough. There's not enough cookies. Okay, so then I can go, well, that's going to be 0 cookies, and I'll get a remainder of 14, and then I can bring down the 9, right? Or I can just see that, look, 14 and 14, it ends up being 14 if I go through the whole process. So as long as I have a number on top, then I can just go straight to bringing down the 9. 18 will go into 149. Ooh, not 5 or 7, maybe 7, but maybe even higher. I'm going to try 8. 8 times 8 is 64. That's 8. That's 14. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. 144. And I'll have 5 left over. I'm going to make sure that I put how many cookies you all get. So if I have this many cookies and there's only 18 of you, that means you will be able to have 708 cookies, and there'll be 5 cookies left over. Okay, now in 4th grade, you learned that we could just write remainder 5, correct? There'll be 5 cookies left over. So this will be my final answer, 708 with 5 left over. Okay, now sometimes you will see questions that will say write the remainder as a fraction. So we're not going to do the remainder R. We're going to write the remainder as a fraction. So let's go over how to do that type of problem. We have 280 into 59,990. Now, let's go through that process of, if I have 5 cookies, no, definitely not enough for 280, nor 59. But 599 is definitely enough for 280 students. So that, maybe I can give everyone 2 cookies. Let's see. That'll be 16, 4, and 5. 506. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll have a few left over, but not a lot. So that means everyone gets 2 cookies. And that will give me a remainder of 39. Then I drop down the next number, which is 9, and I start the whole process over again. If I have 399, is that enough for 280 students? Yes, but definitely only once, because twice I don't have that many. So that will only be 1 time. For 280, I will subtract that and get 119 left over. Bring down the next number. Ooh, that's 1,190 cookies. Yes. Let's try like 5. That will be, oh, that's 0. There we go. 40, 10, 11, 12. So that's too big. So let's go to 4 cookies each. 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 20. Yes, 11, 20. So that will be a 4 up here. I am left with 0, 7. Okay, so now let's talk about how do we write it as a fraction. When we write it as a fraction, we take our remainder, we take the divisor, and we use them as our numerator and denominator. The remainder is always the numerator, okay? And then we simplify it. I can see that both of these are divisible by 10 because they both end in 0. And then I can see with the 7 and the 28 that they're both divisible by 7. So I can actually simplify that to 1/4. So our final answer ends up being 214 and 1/4. So what that means if we're talking about cookies is that if I had a lot of cookies, like this many cookies, and 280 students, that each student will get 214 cookies. And then if I want to take the 70 that were left over and cut them into fourths, that everyone we'll get a remainder. We'll also get another 1/4 of a cookie. So 214 and 1/4 cookies. Let's rewrite that correctly. 214 and 1/4 cookies. All right. So on this next problem, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you pause. I'm going to have you write this down. And then I'm going to have you try it. You've done 3 now with me. I want you to try it. And then if you get stuck, you can push play. Or if you make it to the end and want to check your answer, then you can push play. If you ever make a mistake, then you're going to erase your notes and you're going to do it correctly. Okay? So we can't do cookies anymore because now we're talking about labels and minutes. How many cans did this machine label each minute? All right. So 8 will not go into 27. But 83 will. I'm going to try 3 times. It'll be 6, 7, 8. Ooh, beautiful guess, Mrs. Matson. 3 times. And 3 times 27 is 81. That'll give me a remainder of 2. So I'll bring down the 1. Now 21 is not big enough to go into 27, right? So I'm going to put a 0 here. And then bring down my next number and start again. 27, if 3 was 81, I bet I can go like all the way up to 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to try 8. Because 7 was just low enough that I think I can go one more. Be 56, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Ooh, yay, look at that. They're my favorite. When there's no remainder, sometimes I just make it a smiley face because it makes me so happy. All right, so this was a story problem. So I can't just write 308 because that would mean I haven't even answered the question. How many cans did the machine label each minute? Well, if I divide up all my cans into the 27 minutes, then it means that I made 308 cans per minute or each minute. Awesome possum.